see no shipping. I'm sorry, is that me?
No, that was me.
Oh, okay.
Sorry for the interruption. Go ahead.
So there is, in this digital medium, there is no printing, almost no printing. There is no shipping, and there is no logistic involved in terms of delivering your content to just about anywhere in the world. And it's a huge gap now, because it's sort of reinventing the way that a publisher would do business. Actually, if digital printing or ebooks stick around, I mean, and the need for it sticks around, then it is going to revolutionize the way that content is delivered, and it has done so for major markets in the world. What is the difference between major markets in the world and our region? Well, sadly to say, our region has not fully engulfed itself within the digital content and distribution scenario. We look to change that. We know it's going to take some time to sensitize people to the ways of being available, you know. But it's what we have going for us is the fact that it's very easy. There's no difficulty in terms of arrangements, in terms of printing arrangements or shipping arrangements, or consumer arrangements. All this has been encapsulated within Digital Canopi. So this evening, I would like to demonstrate to you how Digital Canopi works, how it works for authors, how it works for publishers, and how it works for the general Joe public. We have two sides to our platform. One side is for users, so it's the general public who would be accessing your work and browsing and shopping and selecting your books for purchase. And then we have another side, which is the publisher/author side of the platform. And that side is, it's relevant to you because you would see directly how Digital Canopi can work for you as a business, how it can work for you in getting your product on the world stage, how it can work in terms of redefining the markets that you enter. And you would be able to understand commerce differently. Like I said, people before, they talk about the Amazons and getting their book on Amazon, which is really, really commendable if you can do that. But what's next after getting your book onto Amazon? How do you generate sales on Amazon? How do you get your book seen? How do you become seen on Amazon? These are things that you have to then strategize. Amazon is based on a reviews system. So your product has to be reviewed by users and organic reviews. And once that has taken place, then you start to get more views and people start to see your product and so on. We have tried at Royals to place books on Amazon, and we've been successful in doing so. But in terms of getting your book seen and having these thousands of purchases happen has not been the reality. So without much more delay, I will present the user side first and go through all of the features and so on. And then you would probably ask questions. And then after the question and answer, brief question and answer, we will go on to the author and publisher side. and then we'll have question and answer there as well. So allow me to share my screen.
Yes, you can go ahead.
Okay, it says host disable participant screen sharing. If you could just enable that.
I gave you host privileges.
Oh, I'm the host, okay.
Yeah, I just changed it, so you can go ahead.
Okay, let's see, how does that happen? Okay. All right. So, are you seeing my screen? Okay,
Yes,
just having...
yes, we are.
Great. All right.
Yeah.
Right. So welcome to Digital Canopi. This is our landing page for users. So first of all, you are greeted with a banner that scrolls. And this banner acts in two ways. It can act as advertising, and it's a placement for Digital Canopi authors to place their newest titles. This is part of our advertising. This is a paid advertising spot for those authors who wish to pay for that spot. After the banner, you find a few containers placed on the page. You have featured books, and this shows the books that we have chosen to be featured on the site. And you can expand this view by clicking on View More, and this would take you into all of the books that we have featured on our site. So you can choose, an author can choose to become a featured author by letting us know and paying a small fee for that and so on. Those are the only two revenue streams in terms of advertising that we offer on the site. Everything else is, and these are also optional as well. Authors and publishers are not beholden to use these two advertising features as being part of Digital Canopi. After the featured books container, you have popular books. Now, the popular books container, you can view more to see what books users have been looking at, and these draw from our algorithm on this site. So it's based heavily on traffic and people coming on the site and looking and reviewing different books and not necessarily buying it, but what they've looked at. And these are those titles. After the popular books, you have education. Now, these are where all the textbooks are housed. You can expand the view to view more, and you will be seeing various pages of textbooks. So you can go to page 2 and see more textbooks, page 3, and even more textbooks.
Dwight, can I interrupt you 1 second? As I have given you host privilege, you will see from time to time someone trying to get in.
Oh, admin.
Just
Yes.
let
Okay,
them.
right.
Thank you so much.
Sure. Right, I missed that. Okay, right. Right. Okay, so so that's the featured books, the popular books, the education books, and then we have fiction. In the fiction container, when you view more, you would see all the books that are stories, fiction, submitted by our fictional authors, and the catalog is still growing. After fiction, we had 2 non-fiction books. So this is where you would find more of your biographies and your true stories and those social commentaries and things like that. We even have a HR handbook for businesses. Yes, as well, that is also a growing category. We've been onboarding authors throughout the region with various books, and they have submitted on the site, as you see. Lower down the page, you have a bestseller.
I don't know how to do my key. My house key. What's in another Bible?
Yeah, Shanice, could you
You
mute
can
your
hear that.
mic, please? Hi, Shanice. Could you mute your mic, please? Thank you.
All right. So the bestseller container hosts the book that is doing well in sales on the site. And this is also pulled from our algorithm. So the site will notice which book is having most sales, and it will place it here, just so visitors to the site can see, you know, what book is popular. In this case, it's the ABCs of Money. You can click here to learn more about that book. It takes you to the book detail page of that book, and it tells you all the information that you need to know, the price, and so on and so on. After we leave the bestseller, we have the featured authors column, and the featured authors column house authors that we feature from time to time on the site. We can click on one of these authors and it brings up their bio, a picture of the author, and their collection of books that they have uploaded on the site. So this is the experience that the public will see when they visit the site and they're looking to browse books and purchase books and so on. We have a menu, expandable menu here on the side that shows various parts, features of the site. So we have the ebooks, which is generally just the ebooks displayed on the site. We have the My Books container. The My Books container is basically, well, I have to log in now. It's basically when someone purchases a book on Digital Canopi, the My Books is where their books will be housed. So they can reference the My Books container over and over, and their books will be sitting there once they've purchased it. So let me go ahead and sign in as a user. When you sign in, you click sign in, and you have two choices: either you sign in as a user or sign in as a publisher. Since we are demonstrating the user side, I'm going to sign in as a user. All right. My password. Give me 1 second. I think I seem to have forgotten my password. So this is a good lesson in when you forget your password, what you must do. So you just click forgot password, enter your password, it will reset. And then it will be sent to your mail. That's my mail.
This was good to demonstrate as well, because a lot of us forget our password, and you see how easy it's going to be for Dwight to get back in, even though
Yes.
he is trying to reset his password. So this is great.
Yeah, this is a problem that I've been having quite a while because I have so many passwords. I keep forgetting which one. Let's see. Right, so I got my reset password here. Okay. And where's my window? Sorry. Right. Right. So I'm in. I reset my password, and the password is now registered. Now, if I wanted to go and change my password, I would go here and go change password to something that the one that I just received was a generic password. So I would now go to my profile here and change my password to something that I can recognize easier. So yes. So coming back to the My Books container, the My Books is where you would find your books that you've bought and you want to access for reading at any time. So you would sign into your account, go to your My Books, and you would find your books sitting here. This is a book that I bought myself on Digital Canopi, Petra and the Pui. And if you would realize here, it doesn't give you the opportunity to buy the book again because you already own it. So it says read book. That's the only action you can take on this page now. So when I click read book, this is how the book would present itself. Right? Excuse me 1 second, please.
Now, while we're waiting for Dwight to come back, I just wanted to point out again how simple it was for him to reset his password because, you know, we forget our password so easily. And this is one thing that him forgetting his password has allowed us to see. It's really easy to get back in on this site. As well as the books I'm seeing, you have the opportunity to become a bestseller really easily. Just get your sales up and boom, bestseller list on Digital Canopi. That's another point. When he comes back, I have some questions. And what do you all think about the point that you can pay for ads if you want, as well as you can pay for the feature that has featured author? Hi, Dwight. I was just bringing up two questions
Hi.
while you were away about the
Sorry.
paid ads. That's okay, and the paid featured author part of it. So if you get when you get a minute and you're finished, we just want to just like to have
Okay.
some information about
Right.
that.
Yeah. I'll just go through this and we'll take the questions after. So this is how your book represents on Digital Canopi. As you can see, as crisp as actual print page, right? We can actually change the layout so that it represents as a double page, all right? The numbers are shown here. There are 26 pages on preview here. So you can actually read, well, the book is 26 pages. You read the entire book in your online reader. This is the online reader. Right. Coming back out of this, my books. So I can come back to my books and then see the other books that are contained within my books. I have, this is a textbook. I'll show you how a textbook would represent. And you would see PDF Tron blazoned across here, and that is just our security feature because we use PDF Tron as a as our PDF display. So this entire online display is provided by PDF Tron, and the technology behind that is provided by PDF Tron. So it's just another security feature. So after my books, you have our authors, and this is just showing you some of the authors that have submitted their bio and their profile on the books that they have authored on the site. This is Dr. Haynes. He's yet to put his bio, but there are his books, and you can view his books here. So each book detail page comes with the title of the book, who the company has published the book, the price, a descriptor, the author, category, subcategory, and your choices whether to add to cart, read sample, or use the code. I use the DC code. We'll come to that later. The published date, published year, sorry, the amount of pages the book contains, and the ISBN number. So you have ebooks, my books, and then we're back to our authors. It's up to the authors. You might be asking yourself, well, why these authors don't have their pictures up, or why we don't have the pictures of the authors, but it's up to the authors. So Digital Canopi is a kind of do-it-yourself site. So we leave it up to the authors to place their pictures and place their bios. We would love to have all of that populated before we launch next month. So we're working on having that done. But it's up to you really when you sign on that you would populate your, and it's better for you to be in touch with your customer base. They would see who you are, get a little sense of you and the books that you have authored. Our authors are all publishers. So authors and publishers go hand in hand in Digital Canopi. So if you are an author, if you're on a publisher who has a few different authors under them, you can list on Digital Canopi and add your authors as part of your imprint. Categories. So this is basically the publisher pages are similar to the author pages. So you can go here and you could find out a brief bio about the publisher and see the books that the publisher has published as well. Categories is much more of a detailed search. So if you know that there's a book that you're looking for in a certain category, you can search via the major categories: education, nonfiction, fiction, and then you can go down into subcategories. So if I'm looking for a mathematics book, I'll go education and then go down to mathematics and see, what the search brings back for me. So these are all textbooks in mathematics, right? If I'm looking for, let's say, a book with the name Magic in it, I just search here and the Magic Cave comes up, more adventures in the Magic Cave, that sort of thing. Categories are basically the detailed view. Publisher. Publisher is how, if there's a user who wants to know how to become a publisher, these are small snippets of information that we offer. How to become a publisher on Digital Canopi, 7 simple steps to start selling on Digital Canopi, and it's a step-by-step process. You can read in your spare time, about the process. Signing up and using your publisher account, the different features that you would find on the publisher side, and how it can impact you and your experience on Digital Canopi. So we have also gone ahead and answered some questions that we've put forward for people who have frequently asked questions about being a publisher on Digital Canopi. And we've outlined some of the key features for publishers. And it's geared towards what are the pros of being a publisher on Digital Canopi and how it can help you. Publishers have a global audience to which they can sell their ebooks on Digital Canopi. We've implemented something called preview, where you can, before you purchase your book, you can preview and look at the pages within the book, some of the pages within the book, before you decide to purchase. Subscriptions, we offer, you can possibly buy the book outright, or you can, as the author, you can set a rule where you can allow someone to purchase the subscription for a period of time for a lesser price. So it's basically renting your content for a particular amount of time. And when I say a particular amount of time, it means that when that time expires, the time that you have set expires, the content disappears from the user's device. So they will not have that content on their device past the date that you have them subscribed for. Code delivery, I'll get into that a little bit later. Interactive functions, we have also built Digital Canopi to be interactive in terms of, for textbooks, we have we can add multiple choice, we can add fill in the blanks, we can add tick the right answer, that sort of thing, for workbook features. All of Digital Canopi's transactions, online transactions, e-commerce transactions are all secure. We use Stripe. We are backed by Stripe, which is a credit card processor in the United States, and they are responsible for e-commerce on Amazon, on Uber, on Etsy, on all the big e-commerce sites in the United States. We have also made the ease of uploading your content to the website very, very simple. It's practically a no-brainer, really. And that I will be demonstrating on the other side, on the publisher side. We've added the autobiography and the company profile, which we just saw. So these are different things. When you have time, you can go through and read up on what we've prepared in these various columns under the publisher side. And then under Digital Canopi, we have FAQs for, now these FAQs are for the publisher. Under Digital Canopi, these FAQs here are for the user. So anyone who's not a publisher, who's purchasing books for their own use, they can access these FAQs. So basically, how do I access my books offline? There's a step-by-step for that. Can I print or share the books throughout, both on Digital Canopi? And when you click here, there is a answer for that. Do I need special hardware or software to read the ebooks? There's an answer for that. But so basically, it's telling people, answering questions about Digital Canopi in the FAQs. And just so you know, our site does not encourage printing or sharing of books, and this is to protect the author's content and copyright. So each user must purchase the content in order to view it, and there is no sharing of the content. Under the Digital Canopi, again, we have FAQs about us, our vision, our explainer videos, which is animated videos that sort of encapsulate the site. One encapsulate the experience from the user point of view, and the other one encapsulates the experience from the publisher's point of view. So when you have some time, you can look at these two videos, these animation videos. You can read the FAQs, and it will just reinforce more of what I've been explaining. We also, what you've seen earlier by way of the our books, our ebooks, and how it's displayed online, it's because Wi-Fi has afforded me to bring that up and display it. However, we have also gone ahead and created a offline reader. So our reader is a user can purchase a book, download it into the Digital Canopi app, offline app, and their book that they've bought on Digital Canopi will be available to them on the offline app, whether they're in Wi-Fi or without Wi-Fi, so they can travel with their books, they can read their books without Wi-Fi, at school, at home, traveling in a bus, and those offline apps are available right now in Android. You can see right here, it's on the Google Play Android. And we also have it available in Windows. We're working on iOS, which should be out in a couple of days. And then basically we have our information, our contact us. We're only a phone call or email away, and we are there to support any sort of, or take any feedback that you have. Any problems that you have, we were there to support and to rectify. So basically, back to what I was saying is that this view that I've just gone through is our user side, and this is the side that all of the e-commerce is going to take place on. Oh yes, these are our social media buttons, and let me see if there's anything else. Oh yes, while you're a user, you can upload your own photo, and you can also edit your profile. I haven't really added anything to my profile. There's one more thing I want to show you on the user side, which is very important before we go to the publisher side. So each one of these books, when you view the book, it has what you call a book detail page. So once you upload a book onto Digital Canopi, you are designated a space called a book detail page. And this is where your book will be presented and all of your information will be shown. We've gone through title, price, the descriptor, the author name, so on and so on and so on. I want to show you how the process of purchasing a book on Digital Canopi works. So the public, a member of the public, a user on the site will come to Digital Canopi, and they will choose this book. And in choosing that book, they would probably want to read a sample of the book. So they would just click read sample. And you as the author get to choose how many pages that you want the public to see, how many pages of your book that you want them to see. So it will start with Roman numeral 1, the title page, and it will we have allowed 15 pages of this book for the author, for the user to see. So it will start with the title page, and then they can scroll and they get to read the forward, and then they get into the actual author's preface and the contents and chapter 1. So they get up to the first page of the book so that they can preview and see whether it is they want to purchase the book or not. That's just an added feature for sales. And then we would add to cart. It's supposing that they would like to purchase the book, they would add to cart, and the book would then add to cart, right? Successfully added to cart. I would click on my cart, view my cart, and the book is represented here, one book, and the price of the book. So this is the purchase details. Subtotal is $15. The processing fee by our credit card processor is added to it on the upfront. So the processing fee is 89 cents. All of this is in US, by the way. The price of the book is $15. And you may be asking yourself why US, but because we are selling to a global audience, we have to sell it in US dollars. So the subtotal is 15, and then we add the processing fee, which is 89 cents. And then it brings you to a total of $15.89. Make sure to check the terms and conditions, make purchase. Your name will be, once you're logged in, your name should appear here grayed out because it links the information to your account. And then you would input your card number, your expiration date and month and so on, CVC, and you would click here, pay 15, and then it would be, it would process the payment. And once the payment is processed, you'll receive an email, and also you can go directly to your My Books container, and your book will be housed in the My Books container. It's that simple. I just want to show you one other thing in terms of the subscription that I was talking about earlier. So if I wanted to purchase a book that had a subscription on it, so basically it would be usually it would be a textbook. So I would click subscription, and I would subscribe. It would be added to my cart. Go to my cart, and you would see here one book at $10.08 for 280 days. So I have set a rule that I'm going to have this book, offer this book for subscription based on 280 days. I can also view the sample. If I don't want my first selection, I can delete that. And I would just buy the subscription for this book, which is at a lesser price than if I were to actually buy the textbook. So I would show you. So this book is priced at $14 if I were to buy it outright and have it on my system for all time. But if I were to buy it as a subscription, I would be paying $10.08 plus the processing fee. And that would get me 280 days of worth of the content of this book. So that's basically what I wanted to show you on the user side. And if anybody has any questions before we head over to the publisher side, I'll be happy to answer those. I don't know if I have a question.
Dwight, I have a lot of questions. I have probably over 5 or 6. But what so what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold them until we finish, because I don't want to prolong the process, and get you out of your zhuzh. So please continue, and we'll have the Q&A at the end.
Okay. All right. Well, that's fine. Okay. So in order to head over to the publisher side, it's just as easy as clicking on this on your profile. Switch to publisher, which will sign you out of the user side, and then you send back in to the publisher side. All right. Let's hope this works at this time. I rarely use this, this on these so it's Mhm. So I'm just going to, oh, sorry. Right, so I'm doing the same thing with the publisher password because I really usually don't use my publisher side. Um, let's get that email. Second. All right. Oh. Mhm. Sorry. Excuse me, sorry, I'm just pulling up all sorts of things right now. Right, okay. So this is the publisher side of Digital Canopi. We have a different experience than what you've seen on the user side. And these are only geared for publishers that have signed our agreements and who have signed on to be authors or self-authors or publishers on Digital Canopi. So first of all, we're greeted with 4 containers on the side. One is the My Books, the Upload Book, the My Profile, and the Recent Sales. So the My Books container basically houses the books that you have uploaded onto the site. And you would see 3 here because these are the 3 last books that my company has uploaded onto the site. If I wanted to expand that view to see how many books I have on the site, I would view all here. And I would click view all, and it would expand all of the books that I have on the site. And those books are cataloged into pages. So I can go page 2 and a different set of books will come up all the way down to 8, right? I go back to the dashboard. Recent sales. Recent sales shows you, it keeps you updated as to your sales on Digital Canopi. So basically you can view your sales and see how your books are doing in terms of sales. And you can track how much sales you're doing for the month, and you could create, your own sales reports and so on based on your sales. You can click view all, and the sales are reported like this. Each sale has a sale number, a particular sale number. The title of the book will be reported. The user name that bought the book and the country that that user is from. The price that they paid for the book. The fee that Digital Canopi charges the publisher, yourself, for using the use of facilitation of selling the book. Publisher discount, if Digital Canopi offers to the publisher a discount, then that would be detailed here. The payout amount, so this is basically how much Digital Canopi would pay to you per book. So your price of book would be $7.36. Our cost for hosting and handling the e-commerce process would be $1.47. So this is basically 20% of your sales price. And the payout amount would be $5.89 to you. The sales type would be a sale for this book and not a subscription. If it were a subscription, it would say subscription. It would detail that. And then, of course, the date that the sale took place. So basically, we at Digital Canopy, when we decided to come up with this business and this business model, being in the publishing business, we did not want to be restrictive, and we wanted to really motivate people to create work and to have it for sale. And if this were to be a motivational thing in terms of the price being affordable, and you as a publisher will see the benefit in selling your own book and making your own money, and in terms of not being draconian in our pricing, you would probably see the benefits of authoring more books and placing more books onto the site. So this is why we charge 20% plus the processing fee, which is a minimal cost, as you could see on the front side. And 80% of the sale goes back to you. Most of the publishers, actually all of the publishers so far and authors so far, have found it beneficial. And I hope in the question and answer, if you have any questions about that, we can address those. Going back to the dashboard, that's the sales part of it. We have in my profile catalog, which is the container, which is very simple in terms of you can upload your logo, name of your company or yourself if you're self-author or self-publisher, your telephone number, your bio of your business, email address, if you want the public or people who buy your book to be in touch with you for review purposes or anything like that, you can add your email. And then we come to the upload book portion. Now, this is probably the most exciting part of apart from the recent sales, I find. It's the most exciting part of the process. Here's where you would upload your book. Now, remember, Digital Canopy does not house your book or your content. We take no part in housing your content. Everything that goes onto our website goes from your computer straight to the AWS servers in the cloud that is backed by backing Digital Canopy. So we don't keep any files of yours for ourselves, and we cannot supply that to anyone. So basically what would happen, let me show you a brief demonstration of how you upload a book. You would click upload book, and we have one page of information to satisfy to upload in order to upload your book. You would upload the front cover of your book from your computer, wherever it's housed on your computer. See here, front cover mandatory. You can choose to upload the back cover as well, but you don't have to. So if I go and try to upload a book here, we have a recent book that I probably can upload. Right, so, and then I would enter the name of the book. And then I would determine my price. Usually for ebooks, the prices are 25, 30, it could go all the way up to 40% cheaper than a print book. So the price of this particular book is about $200 TT. Now I have to convert to US. I would basically place this book at about $14 TT. Right. If I were to add a subscription to this book, I would have to set a rule for it. If I did have a rule for it, I would just click here and choose the rule that I set previously and place, you see all of these are set at 280 days. at different books that are in the system already. So I would leave out the subscription. And again, the subscription is optional. It's not for everyone. So it depends on if you want to use it or if not. You know, you can just leave your price for the book here and not enter into the subscription part of it. Description, I would just put, I would put my description that I want to see on the book detail page. For the purpose of this demonstration, I'm just going to put good book. The category, this book is a non-fiction. And then I would, oh, I'm sorry. Here's where you would, sorry, before you go to the category, you go to the ebook file. So here's where you would upload the file of the PDF file of the book that's sitting on your computer. And this would be this file. So the PDF file that we format that we accept is has to be less than 500 megabytes in size. And that's pretty standard. I mean, and that's okay for any size book, I would think, medium size book. So then I would go to the category, nonfiction. And then subcategory, I would choose what subcategory most fits this book, and I think it's more political commentary. The author would be Anthony Dial, but he is not in my list of authors so far. So then I would have to add him. So I would click here to add the author and put his name. And if I have a bio on him, I'll put it in. And if I have a picture of him, I click here and choose the picture and put it in. But I don't have that information right now, so I'll just add his name. So when I go back to author now and I enter Anthony Dial, it will come up. Total pages of the book, I believe it's 290. I will check back that. Total preview pages. So these are the pages that we're going to offer the public to view before they purchase the book. So they have the option of viewing the preview pages just to see what the book is about and so on. So I would want, my maximum is 15 pages, and that's including the Roman numeral pages. So I would probably do maybe about 10 pages of this book for preview. I would put the publisher name. And the publisher year. And the ISBN number. I have to check that. I'll just put in, for the purposes of this demonstration, I'll just put that in. Right, so all my information is there. My most important information is the cover, the file, the name, the price, and the ISBN. Everything else it needs to be there, but it can't be published without the information. And then I would click upload book. This is how long the book takes to upload onto the site. Because this book is 290 pages, it may take a little bit longer. Right, so we have 100% of upload, and we go back to our dashboard, and we see the latest book has been uploaded. Tony DL was last seen. I can click on the book and see how the book displays on the user side. So it will display with the title, publisher, price. Well, we only put good book as a descriptor, but usually it's a longer descriptor. This says requested because it's been requested by the author to Digital Canopi to have the book approved. So once we approve it on the back end, then you're live on the site. But all the other information has been inputted, and this is how the book will display. Right? Going back now, that's how you do an upload of a book. My books, again, are all the books that you have uploaded onto the site, and now you see our latest edition is represented here, right? Arranged books, if there's a certain way that you want your books to be seen, let's say if you have book 1, book 2, book 3, or first edition, second edition, third edition, and you want them to be arranged in a certain way, you would just click arrange books here, arrange books, and then just simply drag and drop your books as to how you want them arranged. Subscriptions, we come back to the subscriptions. This is where you would add a plan for a subscription. So I just added Tony Dial's book. So if I wanted to add a plan for that, the name of the book I would put in Tony Dial was last seen, and then I would add a price for the subscription. So if I wanted that book is $14 outright. But if I wanted to sell the subscription at a lesser price at $10, let's say, I would enter $10 there. And then how many days I want the person to have the book. If they're paying $10 for it, maybe I'll 6 months, 180 days, right? I'm sorry, put that here, 180 days, let's say roughly. And I would click add, and that would add a plan onto here. And if I wanted to make that plan active, all I had to do was just click that to make it active, so that when I'm uploading my book, when I'm uploading, let me go back to that. When I'm uploading my book here, and I want to use the subscription, I'll go here and then choose the plan that I made active. I just look for the Tony Dial book on the drop down, and it will be there somewhere. And I'll just choose that, and it will apply it on the front end. So all of these things are within your control, and you're able to customize your page and your books as you see fit. If you're a publisher, and like I said, you have publishers under your company, you can edit their profile, you can add photos, bios, that sort of thing, right? Let's see. Yeah, these are different authors that we have on the list. My sales, again, it is just the same thing that we went through at the beginning, where we saw my sales, recent sales container. It's the same thing that represents in my sales. My payouts. My payouts is just a way for you to track how Digital Canopi has paid you, and to record the payments so that you're on top of your payments. So if we have a balance for you, which almost never, because we try to pay out everyone every quarter, we do payments based on each quarter. So we would review your account and see how many sales that you've had, and then we would pay you accordingly at the end of the quarter. My payouts, that's my payouts. Codes. So codes is something that we did not touch on, and it's primarily because it's not for everyone, it's optional.
Hi, Dwight.
Hi.
Sorry to interrupt you again. You should see somebody trying to get in. Could you let them in?
Right, good. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
So codes is something that can work for you in terms of promotion of your book. So if you have, let's just say you have a reviewer who wants to review your book, and you don't, let's say he lives in England, and you don't necessarily want to ship one book to England because it's very expensive, you can purchase a code from us, and give that person the code to download the book on Digital Canopi, and they can read the entire book on Digital Canopi without much expense, right? Also, codes can be used for promotional purposes. So let's say you pair your title with another product, and it's, you know, a promotion where you can purchase a product and get your book. You can generate those codes, purchase those codes from us, and in working with that other product, you can give those codes to the person who bought the product, and they can have your book, or however you wanted to tailor that promotion. Also, in terms of for textbook authors like ourselves, in terms of codes being sold to schools, let's just say a school is using your literature book or your book for literature, or book on poetry or something for literature, and they want 30 books. You may not expect 30 students to come on Digital Canopi and buy one book each. The school may want to interact with you as the author and say, listen, can we get 30 copies of your digital book? Basically, what you would do is have that sale happen offline. It wouldn't happen on Digital Canopi. What you would do is purchase the codes on Digital Canopi, download it to your computer, and give it to the schools once they've paid you for your book. Once you give them the codes to your book, they can go on Digital Canopi, enter those codes, and the codes are unlock the book on Digital Canopi for them to view and have for as long as you want them to have it. So codes here, let me just go further into how that works. We have 3 categories of codes. So it's based on quantity. How many codes do you want to purchase? If you want to purchase that one code for that reviewer in England, you would go into this category. You would choose the name of your book. Let's say Making Science Fun. Amount of codes. I want 1 code for that reviewer in England, and you would fall into this category, $1 per code. So that's $1 for the code. I mean, based against shipping the actual book to England, that's a steal. 1 code is $1. The processing fee is 34 cents, so $1.34. And you would purchase the code. You would purchase the code with your credit card, click on that, and pay $1 for the code. And then the code is downloaded in your codes ledger, your book codes. So the book codes basically would have a detail of the codes that you've purchased, the date you've purchased it, for what book you've purchased it, and the action to download. You can download the book, you can download it here. Once you download it, it downloads to your computer, and then you can deliver it to the school. Excuse me. Sorry. All right. Sorry about that. So yes, so you can download the codes to your computer and deliver it to whoever you want to deliver it to, whether it's for promotional reasons, whether it's for schools that have bought your book, whether it's for review purposes. The codes ledger basically shows you, gives you a ledger for yourself to keep as to how many codes you've downloaded and for what book and when it was downloaded. Codes used is to show you if you're in correspondence with a school, or if you're in correspondence with just about anybody who said, well, you've delivered codes to, you can check to see if those codes have been downloaded for the particular book. So the date that the codes have been downloaded. This is the actual code that you gave to the person and the book that it was intended for. So that's basically how codes work. Coming back to the dashboard, let me see if there's anything else I failed to go over. Right. So this is your profile here, and you can get back to my books. You can edit your profile, right? Just as before. You can change your password, and you can switch back to the user mode and then sign out, of course. So I think I have covered everything so far. So I would want to start taking some questions now. I know it's getting late. I didn't want to go too long. Hopefully everyone, has gotten a sense of the features of Digital Canopi on the user side and on the publisher side. A few things to note is that these books, once they're uploaded to our site, they are available to anyone with Wi-Fi throughout the world. We ask authors and publishers, and I'm sure most of you already have your social media accounts working for you in terms of getting the word out on your books and so on. We ask that when you are promoting your book, that you just mention us that your book is on Digital Canopi, and so you forward the interest to the website so that people can purchase your ebook. One of the easy ways to do something like that, let me just go back to the user side. So each book has, as I said, a book detail page, and in the link at the top, you would see Digital Canopi. I can't see it right now because my there's something blocking my screen. But each book has a book detail number. Okay, yeah, this one says digitalcanopi.com/book_detail/105. So this link can be copied and put into your social media advertising. So when someone is interested in looking at your book on Digital Canopi, they can just click that link and be directed to this book detail page, which is specific to your book. Similarly, this book would have a book detail page number 85. Each book is assigned a particular number for the book detail page. So once you put that into your social media advertising, they click that, it directs them straight to the page with your book so that they don't have to go on the site and be searching for the book. And they can then make their decision as to whether they want to purchase or subscribe or whatever. So that being said, I can take questions now.
Well, thank you so much, Dwight, for that awesome presentation. It was really simple to follow and easy. So the floor is now open to anybody who has a question. Please remember, no question is a foolish question. We're all here to learn. Don't feel anybody's going to be laughing and snickering at you. That is not happening. Somebody else might have your very question and you're helping them because you're the braver one, right? So, Crystal, I'm seeing your hand up. Please go ahead. Thank you.
Hi, good night. Mr. Narayan Singh,
Yes,
thank you so much for such a comprehensive explanation of the site. My question is, what type of traffic does the page get on a daily or monthly basis? And do you, Digital Canopi, the organization, advertise the site to draw more traffic to it?
Right. So as it is right now, we have not launched the site. So you guys are kind of getting on the ground floor. We are getting ready to launch next month. And we have, right now we do have some traffic on the site for those people who are aware of the site. And we do have sales happening as we speak. But once we do launch, there's going to be a lot more traffic on the site because we expect to make the region aware of Digital Canopy. As it is right now, we're onboarding people such as yourself in terms of authors and publishers with their publications, so that we have a huge, our aim is to have a huge amount of resources for people to choose from when they come onto the site. Right now, we do have quite a bit of books, but we're hoping to grow, exponentially, so that we can attract authors and publishers and self-authors throughout the Caribbean, in mass. So to answer your second question, yes, we do plan on advertising through our social media, which is Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. We've started some of that already, and we hope to continue and feature some of the, feature actually all. We want to feature all of the author's books in our mailouts. Does that answer your question?
Thank you so much.
All right. Sure. There's someone else.
Hi, we have Shadima's hand is up, and then we have Shane. So Shadima, you go first, and then Shane.
Thank you, Mr. Reinstein. First, I want to say congratulations to you and the company. It really makes me feel happy to know that right here in our own country, we have something so good that is taking place.
Oh, thank you.
But I would just like to know, what do you have to do as an individual to get started with Digital Canopy to see, get your books out?
Sure.
What's the process? How do we get on board?
It's very simple. You see me have my challenges with my passwords. You basically have to just sign up at your account, a user account, and you can also sign up a publisher account on the publisher side. Very important to note that you can't use the same email for both sides. You have to use one for the user and one for the publisher side. Basically because the database is going to only recognize one. So in terms of having two accounts, if you're a publisher or author, you must have a publisher email, one that you use as a publisher or author. And then on the user side, you can use a personal email address.
Okay.
So then, yes, so that's one part of it. So once you've done that, then you approach us just with an email and say you're ready to place your books on. You would sign a contract with us, which details all of our payment procedures and all of the information, detailing copyright and so on, that we don't hold your copyright. It explains everything. And then once you've signed that with us, you would also lodge your financial information in terms of your bank account number, so that we will be able to transfer your sales monies to you when that time comes. And then you start uploading your books, and it's as simple as that.
Okay, thanks very much.
Yeah, once you upload your books, we will accept it on the back end and publish it on the site, and you can be up and published in a matter of minutes.
Thanks so much.
You're welcome.
Thanks a lot.
Shane?
Yeah, Shane is next.
Pleasant night, Mr. Narang and everyone.
Hi. Hello, good night.
Yeah, good night. I just want to echo the opening sentiments of the previous questioner. I think that this service is a very good thing for us here as writers and potential writers, and hopefully publishers as well. My question is, I know, for example, like for toddlers, very young children, of course, because they are largely visual at that stage, books published for them will contain a lot of images and what have you, right? With as little as possible. Because they know at the stage, well, pre-reading and all of that. But in terms of the company, right? I know that there will be standards, right? So my question really is there a minimum requirement in terms of length for a book to be actually considered to be published? Is there a standard where it doesn't matter in terms of word usage and that sort of thing?
Oh, no, there is actually this, our platform accommodates any type of literary work. I mean, it could be annual report. It could be a storybook for a child. I've had children's storybooks just published on the site, 17 pages long, in width. It does not have any real rules to how, but it must be substantial. It must be a substantial body of work in terms of attracting your audience. But that is left up to you, the author and the publisher. We just handle the hosting and the sale of the book for you, but the content is created by you, and it's your creative license how voluminous you want your work. So no, to answer your question, like what we've gone through before, what you really need for publishing your book is a cover and your PDF file, no matter how big that may be, and the work must be acceptable to all audiences. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mr. Langsing.
You're welcome.
Mhm.
Anybody else? Question? No?
I'm not seeing any more hands. I have a few questions, but I want everybody to, to go ahead.
Oh,
Okay,
there's
we
one.
have
There's one
Sharice. Yeah,
question.
we have Sharice, and then we have Crystal again. So Sharice, you'll go first, and then we'll have Crystal.
Hi, good night, everyone. My question is, what's the waiting time after the book has been requested to be published on the site? And also, while you were going through it, I saw that the area for the ISBN doesn't have an asterisk. So do you have to have an ISBN for it to be published? As I know that most ebooks don't need an ISBN on when it's being published.
Yes, we try to place an ISBN for the ebook. I'm not sure how other sites do it, but I know that Amazon asks for an ISBN, and we also ask for an ISBN. Now, ISBN can be the ISBN that you use for print. It's just an identifier on the site, really, but it's suppose it's intended to be the actual ebook ISBN. I'm sorry, there was another part to the question.
Oh yes, when you are publishing the book on the site, what's the waiting time before the requested is
Yeah, that's almost instantaneously done. Once, I would say maximum 1 day, but it would be probably hours, a couple of hours before.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Just to interject before we have Crystal bring her question, the ISBN number, we had a webinar from Pen to Publication recently, and that ISBN number is pretty important to your copyright, because what it does is kind of secure your copyright, your intellectual property as being yours. So an ISBN number is not it's an identifier, unique identifier for your book, but it's really important to make sure that people are not able to just take your work. There's a reference. If perhaps somebody was to take your work and pretend it was theirs, you can go back to your ISBN number and say, no, this was a registered book under my name as my intellectual property, and you have a secure and a valid claim. So the ISBN number, it's really, really important for an author. It's very, very important that you have it, that you get it, and you're able to use it. Now, I know people are probably wondering, Therese, you could correct me if I'm wrong. You're probably asking because we did say if you're an unpublished author. And remember, as an unpublished author, you're not going to the traditional publishing process of having your book printed, etc. What you're really doing is just getting your book formatted and then taking it to the PDF form and uploading it here. So applying for the ISBN number is a small glitch, if so to say. A small thing for you to get. It's not expensive. It's not going to hold you back, but you don't have to go and find somebody to go print your book and get hard copy, you know, and then for them to send you copies. So this process is really short-circuiting that and making sure you could go from typing up your book to attaching an ISBN number to it, to publishing here as an ebook. So that's where the ISBN number, it's really important that you have it, but it's not going to stop you or hinder you from being published on the website as an ebook publisher.
So the ISBN, just to go a little bit further, the ISBN, the International Standard Book Number, is supplied by NALIS. You can get a number through NALIS, and you can apply for ebook ISBN or a print copy ISBN. What it does is that if you go onto international book sites and you search for your book, it will appear, because NALIS would have then attached it to the international book sites standard number to the international sites. So it just gives you a presence on the millions of books out there, hundreds of millions of books out there, right? So it's a way of finding your book. So it is a good thing to have, whether it's ebook or whether it's print, to have that ISBN number attached to your publication. Right.
Yeah, Crystal. Yeah, Crystal.
Yeah. I have two other questions.
Yeah.
One is, does the options include any audiobooks? And number two, what is an average cost of a banner ad or a featured book spot?
Right. Okay, good. So audiobooks, we have not, the technology has not provided us with the audiobook just yet. Although we do have something that we're working on in terms of audio book, a site that is dedicated only to audiobooks. More on that once we've launched Digital Canopi, and hopefully things work out. You know, we can then pursue that audiobook option. So that may be in the future. The other question was, how much does the ads cost? Those figures are in our contract. Can't really, let me see if I get an average. Actually, I'll pull up the contract. I believe it's $5 or just under $5 US for the featured book for the week. And I think 22 US per day for the main banner ad. Wait, I could stop sharing my screen now. Right. Yeah, it's I think 22 US for the main banner ad. So this is what our contract looks like, third-party authors agreement. If you're a publisher, you would get a third-party publishers agreement, but it's basically the same thing. And with the agreement, you have the addendum, the Schedule 1 that lists how the royalties are calculated, right? So 20% of the list price goes to Digital Canopi, 80% of the list price goes, I'm sorry, y'all are not seeing my screen, are you? Let me just share screen again.
Yeah.
Right, seeing my Word file here. Right, so yes, so 20% of the list price goes to Digital Canopi, 80% of the list price goes to the author, minus the credit card processing fee, but that has been taken up front, right? When that's charged directly to the purchaser. And we have an example of how that will work out, right? So $10 minus 20%, which is, so you would see the math here. And this is based on promotional list price. So if you deviated from your normal price and you wanted to list something as a promotional price, then it would be the same sort of calculation. The pro author package is if you wanted to enter into interactivity on the site. If you wanted to make some of your books interactive, that would cost you $500 US for the year, and you would automatically be enrolled in some advertising and also being placed on the featured books. Featured books cost $450 US per day to be part of the featured books, and the banner advertising is $22 US per banner per day. The cost of codes listed here. It's also listed on the site where we went through the codes purchase part of it. The more codes you purchase, of course, it's tiered, and the prices drop per tier. So yes, so that's our contract. I would be able to send the contract to you after, if you so wish, or I can send it and then you can distribute it. Any other questions, Ms. Maynard?
No,
I think
actually I was trying
just...
to move it, but that the contract, I would like to have one, please.
Sure, yeah. We'll send it through, and everyone can have.
What you can do, Dwight, is send it to the guild email address,
Sure.
and I'll distribute it as requested. So Shidima, you'll get it.
Okay. Yes, I'll do that.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions in terms of how the site works? And
yeah, Dwight, I had well, I shouldn't say quite a lot, like if it's such a stupendous list, but
no.
For the reading part of it, right? The application where you can read your book, can you increase and decrease the font, kind of like a Kindle? Can you do that?
Yeah. The font, no, but you can increase and decrease the view. So
okay.
Let me see here. All right. I just want to see if I can show you that.
And is there an app, like you can have the night reading where the screen gives you that kind of sepia look, or is it?
Yeah, no, those features are intrinsic to Kindle.
I see. Okay, makes sense.
Yeah, we're basically on your iPad or computer or
like an EPUB reader.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
So
understood.
But you can. Okay, let's let me share here. I'll share again. Right. So we're back into the online reader, right? So you have different views, right? Let's see. Let's get a page with some text, right? Right. You have
Got it.
fifth to, and the resolution is there. I mean, you don't lose any sort of resolution, by doing this. You can annotate, you can make, some markings as you go.
So you can make some notes as you're reading, especially for like textbooks, etc.
You can type, you can erase, yeah, exactly. Or even if you're reading a book and you want to, underline something, you can do that. There's shapes, you can create shapes, you can freehand write, insert signatures and so on, right? And yeah, basically that's the views.
I like that because we have some mature readers, and
right, yeah, exactly.
Going down in age, I've had to get these, and night reading, you just want to be able to, open that font sometimes and really get in there, right?
I personally like to go to the view and go to because I like how a book opens out. I go to double page and have it open out like this, so I don't, I get the feeling that I'm reading a book. Right. Yeah.
I like it. Okay, so my other question is, I have about 4 others. Please bear with me. So, is it free to be hosted on the DC platform?
Yes, that's a very good question. It is absolutely free. You have no commitment with us. You just need to sign the contract with us and then upload your book. And we do not charge you for hosting your book. So you could stay on Digital Canopi for a very, very long time with no fees being attached to you. The only time we make money is when you make money. So when you sell a book, that's when we take a 20% off of it and we give you 80%.
Okay. Let me see here. Right. So the sample, I had a question about the sample size, and you said the max amount of pages you can give us a sample is 15, right?
Yes, that's inclusive of the Roman numeral pages. So if your book has 4 Roman numeral pages, that's 4. And let's just say you want to give another 4, that's 8 pages. So, I mean, you don't have to use the 15, but you can use the anywhere between that.
Okay. So the next question I had was, how does a writer who is being hosted on the DC platform access their revenue? I know y'all are going to be doing the cutting up of the monies on a quarterly basis. So you're going to be crediting people's account quarterly. But how do I, if I sold a book or 2 or 50, how do I get my money and how do I access it?
Right. So we will be sending monies to accounts every quarter. And we will once you've signed your agreement with us, you would send us your banking information. We would keep that on file. And then once we have to make a payment at the end of the quarter, we send that to your bank account directly.
I see. Okay.
You would get an email notifying you that you got a payment.
So it's really easy. Once you sell a book or 10 or 50 or 1,000, you're gonna quarterly credit our bank accounts. Right. So it's like if you're getting a salary on a quarterly.
Exactly. But you get to check in the meantime on the publisher side. You can check your sales, and you can keep up with us. Make sure whatever you receive is what you're supposed to receive. And that's
correct. Okay, I like that. So our textbooks. Go ahead.
Control. It gives you control as well. It's transparent, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I like that. So I saw you said about the subscription, and you can offer a book for sale or for subscription, where you can set the time limit as to how long a person can pay and use the book, and therefore kind of like a rental, return it, and then so they don't have books piling up in the My Book section. If they just wanted to have a quick read, I'm on vacation, I just wanted to have access to a book for a few, just a quick read, and I can return it, so to speak. So kind of like a library, and you just pay the library fee.
Remember that once you've downloaded, once you've bought a book and you download it to your device, or you have it appear on your device, it's taking up some memory, right? So not everybody is wanting to have that book stay on their device forever.
Right.
So some people, and today the subscription module is very popular. Like you have the Netflix and the the Spotify and that sort of thing. Those are all subscription models. We just added one aspect of the subscription model for users, so that if they choose that route, then they can they can have that option.
So the next question I had is, so can you offer a book for both sale and subscription, give the person the choice?
Yes, that's basically how it's set up. So when you're uploading your book, you would put your price for your sale, and right underneath, if you have a subscription plan, that you've entered before, you can click subscription and choose that plan to apply to your sale. So side by side, you will have add to cart, and then you'll have subscription, and then you'll have DC code. So if I wanted to buy the book outright, I would go add to cart and click that, and that would ensure that I would buy the book outright. If I wanted a subscription of the book, I would just click subscription, and that would ensure that I only buy the subscription to the book, which is a shorter period of time for a lesser price.
Right. Well, that makes a lot of sense, because you want to be flexible in what you're offering, right? So
exactly, yeah.
So you showed us how you can make edits to your book as you're reading, take notes, sign, underline stuff, all of these things. How does it work if I took a subscription out? Do I still have that ability to scribble in the book, so to speak, even though it's just a subscription?
Yeah. Anything that you see that appears in the online reader when you buy a book is what you would see. The exact same thing would be the only difference between the buying the book outright and the subscription is when it's the availability of the book. So buying the book outright leaves the book on your system forever. The subscription has a timestamp on the book. So when you purchase that as a subscription, it connects to your computer's inner clock, and it will count down the days. So if you have 280 days left on the subscription, it will count down the days, and that will expire at the end of the 280 days. That's how it works.
Okay. And then the book will go back to being, this fresh,
and then
untouched.
The book just disappears.
product.
It just disappears. It just disappears from you.
Very well. Okay, so let me see if I had, right. You said book approval. I heard you say that. So if I have a book, I want to put it on a DC platform, I submit it for approval, and then, so you'll read the book, or what are you checking for when you say approval? What criteria do I need to meet to make sure my book is approved?
Well, basically, very little. I mean, it's creative license again. But at the end of the day, we don't want to offend anyone. We have to just look out for material that may be offensive, or that of course we're staying away from material that can basically offend people, but it's creative license, and we're very free with that, so we're not looking for anything that is grotesque or that sort of thing. So but once it is acceptable literary work, like I said, from any genre. It could even be business manuals. It could be, short stories. It could be any sort of literature.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay, so I think this is probably, not the last, second to last. So how does DC, because I remember you did say DC in terms of raising the visibility of an author or a publisher on your site, right? And I know the site isn't launched yet, but could you give us perhaps an idea if anything is in the works or will be existing in terms of how does being on the DC platform give advantage to a publisher or an author versus being somewhere else? I mean, yeah, we want to support local 100%, but what I'm looking
Right.
at is as a writer, you know, I may not have all those marketing skills, and if I put my book on your site, is there something that exists for the DC platform where you're going to just be making sure DC is seen and therefore people will come?
Yeah, well, it's our intention to market our site as much as possible so that it can be seen regionally as well as internationally.
All right.
Because there's more interest now in Caribbean writing throughout the world, right? There are people that are looking for books from the Caribbean and Caribbean literature. So from that point of view, I think we're poised to be in a good place. So we will be doing our marketing and social media and so on. But we rely also heavily on the authors to, they would know their audience and they would have a relationship with their audience already through social media. And so it works hand in hand. We will promote you, you will promote us, and we will try to conquer the world, you know? So basically it's a cooperative effort in trying to get the word out and trying to become, you see, Digital Canopy is sort of a movement for authors and publishers and self-authors. Now realize it's not only authors and publishers, it's self-authors and self-publishers as well are included under this canopy. We are including everyone who has literary work, sound literary work that can be marketed, that want to create a business for themselves or want to create income for themselves and want to actually create more literature for sale. And we are making it easier for people to access a market for that. So what we want to do is to bring everybody together, authors, publishers, users, customers, under this one canopy, so that everyone understands each other's roles, understands what we're presenting, and it's up to the discerning public to, you know, to then purchase or not.
Yeah,
You know?
it makes complete sense to me. That kind of collaborative effort in raising the visibility, not just of Digital Canopy or one author, but for the Caribbean as a region and all the literary works that we're producing. We have someone who is here, Jashon, I hope I'm pronouncing the name right if they're still here. And that person is from Dominica, right? And yeah, so we have somebody who is outside of the region who is here. And, you know, these kind of platforms are going to bring people from outside of the region to get them inside the Caribbean islands, you know, without having to leave their home. They're now able to have a store in Trinidad and Tobago where they're selling the books. So they could probably even tell people, you know, go on Digital Canopy and look for my book. It's a local Trinidad company. And I have my books there. I'm from Dominica.
More than just being a Trinidad company, we want to really capture the essence of the Caribbean. We want to embody all of the island's best literary works. We want to be a magnet for that, and we want to, in turn, show that to the rest of the world. So we are regional in a sense. We want to portray our regional authors. So that's why we currently have authors from Jamaica, we have authors from Barbados, we have authors from St. Lucia, you know, we have authors from Trinidad, you know, we have authors in the United States who are from the Caribbean, and they have joined the site, and they're quite pleased. So more than just being a Trinidad offering or beginning or having our roots in Trinidad, we are really Caribbean, right? And we want to really show the rest of the world what Caribbean authors have to offer.
Yeah. I like that. Okay, so I think two more and that's it. But one was, how is the book pricing decided? That is left up to the author, right? To decide what price you set for your book and therefore deal with the conversion to US.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, you would find that most of the answers that I'm giving you is that we don't get involved in that, right? Because
Right.
basically it's a do-it-yourself site. You know, we leave
Mhm.
it up to the author. You create your pricing, you create your, you know, everything about your book, really. Your subscriptions, you know, but there are industry guidelines, right? There are industry guidelines as to how to price your ebook as against a print book.
Mhm.
Usually we go, and like I said earlier, we go anywhere from 25% to 40% less than the print price, right?
Mm.
So, I mean, it
Mhm.
depends on how it affects you in terms of your investment that you've made in a print, and you know, what you're looking at in terms of the ebook, in terms of your if you have authors to pay, or if you have
Right.
yourself to pay. You know, you take into consideration all your costs
Mhm.
that that are incurred, minus your print, because you're not printing anymore, right? You're just creating the content, and now you're ready to sell it.
Yeah.
So you take into consideration that, and then you price accordingly.
Okay. That makes a lot
But
of
of course,
sense, and I think people will be more
like I
comfortable
said,
with that. Yeah.
there are industry indicators that show what ebook prices go for in
Right.
terms of by genre. You know, yeah, I mean, you can just,
Mhm.
it's easy to just go on Amazon and look at similar books and see what they're priced at.
Yes. And size of books too, number of pages, etc.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
That
this is,
has a
yeah, this is my final question. Thank you for bearing with me. So the
problem.
exchange rate, right?
Yeah.
I know it fluctuates, and my accounting brain kicked in when you said to US, right? So I know we have that exchange rate that fluctuates sometimes. Is there a set rate that is set, we set at $7, and that's what we're sticking at? Is there something like that for DC?
We pay according to the rate that is on the day that we're doing the payout. So it's usually the last day of the quarter. So on that day, whatever rate is being, the US dollar is being traded at, that's the rate we convert at.
Okay, so just for my mind, if I was to have a book that costs, let us say, 20 TT, I converted it to US, it would make sense for me to, because I might have more than one book, it would make sense for me to just use one flat rate, or should I, based on the day I put it on, use the exchange rate that exists, or should I just, you know, pick a set rate and do that?
Yeah,
What would
you
you
pick a
advise?
set rate, because that really doesn't have anything to do with our payout. That is based on your so if you have a book, let's say, for ease, $70 TT, right? That's let's say 10 US, right? So that's, your print book is 70 TT, right? And you're retailing that book for 70 TT. You want to list that equates to 10 US, right? So you want to list now your ebook at a lesser price. So maybe you'll list your ebook at $6 US. So 76, that's $42. So in essence, you're taking out the print aspect of printing your book, cost of printing your book, and you're retaining the content value of your book. What you have placed as your content value, right? What you would satisfy yourself saying, if I did not have to print this book and I had to just create the book, how much I would sell the book for? I would sell it for 42 TT. So that's a way of looking at it. You know?
That makes a lot of sense to me. Thank you. That was the last of my questions. Completely
Any more
satisfied.
questions? I kind of like these questions. They keep me on my toes.
Yeah, I was writing as you were going through the presentations, and things just popped out. But yeah, and I'm really satisfied with not just the presentation, but with the idea of Digital Canopy and what it could mean for an author. We don't have to publish a hard copy. We could just go from straight typing to uploading, you know, once we meet those formatting criteria, etc. So it makes a lot of sense for us to be able to do that. And especially for a lot of our authors, some are not published yet, and this is a viable option for us to use. And I'm hoping that we we make sure that they get into that process of not just, you know, writing home in the book and keeping it
Right.
for when their friends and family want to say, you know,
Yes,
and
and you
you
could
write,
actually make
and
money
you
out of
write.
it.
Yeah, and you write
Yeah,
stuff. Let's hear what you have to, you know, bring out the book.
yeah.
So you could put it
Yeah.
on Digital Canopi, sell your ideas, sell your intellectual property, and
And
make
you don't have to wait for a publisher to tell you if it's good or not and if it's worthy of being printed. You can actually go to market right away. You know?
that is that right there is gold. You do not
Yeah.
have to wait for somebody to approve your book and say, you know, I like your book or I don't like your book. You can share what is in your mind and what is in your heart to share, just as
Right.
you're having it, right? So nobody has to tell you, oh, you know, well done before you publish your book, and you know, or make you feel bad about what you have, because it might
Right.
be not just their taste, it might be somebody else's taste. So go ahead and put it on, and I think that's fantastic.
Yeah, you have freedom of speech, freedom of, you know.
Correct.
And,
But we at 7:40. The rain has started falling by me, so I have to raise my voice. But if you have any more questions, please, let's do it.
Yes.
Yeah, we want to round up. Shadima, go ahead. We want to round up in the next 5 to 7 minutes, right? People want to get their beauty sleep in, and I know we've been at it for a little while. So Shadima, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. And Karen,
Right.
you'll go after.
Just what I would like to find out is whether or not the company will be able to accommodate persons who do like school chats for children.
School charts.
Yes, you know, they have all these nice charts explaining different things so the children could learn, you know, might learn about fishes, dogs, that sort of stuff. And then you have maths, you know, teaching them maths and so on. Would you be able to accommodate that?
Well, if it's in a book form, yes. Charts, we haven't had much experience with charts, because in terms of ISBN and that sort of thing,
They have everything.
Okay.
Just
all
like
right.
books.
Yes,
They
well,
all
yeah.
have
Well,
everything
definitely.
like books.
If it's laid out in a book form, yes.
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 Okay.
Definitely.
Thanks so much.
Sure.
Really
Shadima is
enjoyed
one.
this. Thanks.
Yeah, Shadima is one of our prolific writers as well. She has a lot of educational material. So she's into maths and stuff like that. She is a real brainiac, and she also does graphic work as well. So that's why she's asking, because she has a lot of work to put up on this site, I guarantee you. Karen, you can go ahead.
Yes, thank you very much, Joel. Okay, well, I know I've been quiet for a long while, but I am soaking in everything. And I wrote down a lot of stuff. I wrote down a lot of stuff for me to go back at after, because a lot of questions that was asked, right, I got the answer for them. So thanks for all who asked questions, and you know, and I got the answers. And this one part that I heard that I love much is that we can go from typing to uploading. That is so good.
Yeah.
No, that one's thinking. I have plenty that I will go back at, you know, after the meeting. Because I have a lot of stuff that I have there written, trying to put a book together, or I may try to do a few books, right, with less pages now. I was thinking to do them like that. And also what I was thinking of is there's one that I would like to do, that where I will have to do photos and then do the little wordings with the photos, right? Like the little book, but in the book form, like. So I would like to know how to do that one. That is what I would like to know how to do, because it is in my mind to do, and I was thinking about like taking the photos and printing it on paper, like if I use it on regular paper, and then type my stuff to the bottom of it, like, and I do the different amount of sheets now, and put it together. But then I would need help to put it online in that sense, now,
Right.
right?
I
So
one of the things that Royals Publishing does is we assist people who want to get stuff published, and we can actually do that. The layout of, I think Miss Jonas is talking about the layout of her book with
Yes,
photos
yes.
and how it's married to text, right? And the way that you position that and so on. Through the software that we use, we can do that very easily. So, I mean, this is a conversation for another time, but if you needed advice, or any of your membership needed advice on any part of publishing, we're willing to help,
Okay.
so we're not
Alright.
just here as a e-commerce to facilitate e-commerce, but we're here also on the Royals Publishing side as a assistance or advice on publishing as well.
okay, and I'm not finished yet, but I would also like to say, well, since we are about to finish the meeting, I would also like to say thank you all for being there for us, and I am so happy that we have a company like this in the Caribbean, and at least at our doorsteps and in our hands, and unreachable now. I am happy for that. Right? It's exciting. I am really, really excited about going through this avenue to get my stuff done, because I guess, and you all coming in the right time too, because you can ask Jewel. I was always talking about I think it's time for me to get my stuff done, and Jewel is always telling me that it's time to get your things out there, Karen. You can do it. So I am so happy that Digital Canopy is there.
Oh, good. Thank you.
Thank you all very much.
Yeah. Did we have any more questions? Oh, Josanne, go ahead. We haven't heard you all night.
No. I mean, because this is Dwight's gig. I can't do this part. Every time I listen to one, I learn a little more, and I think, oh, okay, so that's how that's done. That's how, because it's quite information dense. But I wouldn't like us to sign off after everybody's gone to sleep, because I see the numbers have dwindled.
Yes.
So, I mean, unless there are any other pressing kinds of questions. And so I really thought that what I should do is really thank you, Jewel, for the effort that you've put together in mobilizing your little literary community. I think the biggest plus, and Dwight just underscored that, it's not an impersonal service, and it's an effort to build, our favorite term is an ecosystem, so that there is flexibility. I am sure that Dwight, on the other end of a phone call or an email, maybe to Tobago's Writers Guild, and put him on the spot here, wants to do a special promotion or something, he might work out something with the packaging for feature authors and banners.
Yes, that sounds fantastic.
Yeah, because I mean, it's the only way that we can grow the commerce. If everybody just said, well, this is this and this is that, then nothing, things move. Or don't move, they become very sluggish.
Yeah.
So we have that flexibility.
Like I say, it's a cooperative. We need your support, and you get our support. So
yes.
I wanted to assure you all as well that and Dwight has touched on it, certainly as we launch, because here we are where we have, obviously, the Royards catalog is uploaded, because that was in test mode. It's the parent company. It's the company that took the leap of faith. But authors have been coming on slowly while we have been in test mode, because we haven't been in launch mode, but in test mode and still having things done. And there are things in the pipeline as well. But, I think we also have to be measured in that we're developing a market for ebooks. So it's not like there are millions of people from the get-go, what have you, but this is actually a place for everyone to grow their business, essentially. Whether that business is one title, or whether it's a catalog like Royards, which has 100 and something titles, or anything in between. It also is that it's ubiquitous, so that once you're up there, anywhere in the world, your work is accessible. There are no restrictions on territories or saying, you can't do this because you're in this market and the rest of it. And as we get more take up, I mean, the intent is there to add more and more features, but every feature and everything that one does technologically has a cost that comes to it. So it's not like a Godfather or, benefactor scenario. We have to grow the system and create the demand, or where possible, because there wasn't a demand for this, but Royards actually decided we're going to do this anyway. Right. So, but what we have is not an algorithm. You actually have people on the other end of a phone call or an email in which things can be the human. We can't just let the technology take over without the relationships. The relationships are really very important.
Yes, definitely.
And we're putting quite a bit of ground effort into building relationships, in different kinds of relationships with institutions, relationships with diaspora communities, relationships with people in corporate. So if we take that approach and not say, well, what can you do for me? Meaning, well, what you could do for me? I mean, then we will all grow, because what is the alternative? The alternative is every single writer trying to find a publisher and trying to find money to become published, and then still having to go do all the work. And knowing that physical books don't really sell that amount, even with the big authors we have from this region, in terms of locally. So I wanted to finish on that positive note, but also I like next steps. And next steps would be, we'd like to get everybody on board. So the contract, which is a very simple agreement, is going to come to you, Jewel. And we'd be very happy, keep us busy. It would be nice to have some people be part of having their books up or about to have their books up for the launch, which we're planning for the first week in December. The 3rd of December. So I'll send you the information. It would be great if people who are already published and or have material that can very quickly go up, it would be great to have you on board for our launch. And Jewel, I'll be in touch with you to get, to see how we ensure that you're part of the launch, the TWG is part of the launch on the group as well. And this is how we will support each other, and how we will use the social media to mutually beneficial ways, and as you build your networks and we're expanding ours, it just means we're each one carrying the other one. So I'm really hopeful that all of you, and certainly the 9 of you who stayed until the very end, including the end, right?
Some people had to come to other meetings.
Dexter.
Go ahead, Dexter.
Dexter.
Yeah, Mike is
muted.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, muted.
He needs
All right, thank you.
Right.
I just want to say a pleasant good night to everyone. I am very intrigued and very informed by this little webinar that we had tonight. What I want to find out is, like, in terms of scripts, God does do a little bit of script writing. So in terms of getting that out there, I'm not sure how we will have, if there's a platform on board pertaining to that.
Well, when you say scripts, Dexter, you're talking about scripts for plays?
For movies,
Yeah, but anything that you want to put in a written form. So if you bring a movie and you have a movie script, it's a treatment or it's a script. If you want to put that in the public domain, because you are thinking, well, I mean, I'm just thinking off the top of my head, but you have I mean, it's not exactly marketing in terms 101 for marketing a film. But I've been today, I talked to some spoken word artists and I talked to some calypsonians. And I said to them, at the end of the day, you write lyrics, you write words to which you put melodies. And if you go on the internet, you will see sheet music or you will see lyric sheets. So if you are a calypsonian or a songwriter or a spoken word person, you can actually put together a compilation of your work and have that.
I do songwriting as well.
Well, so what I'm saying is that anything, but in terms of, if the question is, will we market to filmmakers? Well, that's not really our remit. But in the ecosystem of things, if you have, as you're published and you have, and this is something maybe Dwight will explain maybe in another session, because we're talking about it, where you may actually, as a self-published person, I know it came up this week, where you may want to make your content available to a particular audience, or people who can get a code and only they can view it. These are the things that I'm not on the technical side. And as the need for something arises, we would look at it, because obviously Digital Canopi is going to expand beyond. It's going to have its blog, its visual, because media is now multimedia. But we have to build a core business. So if you think you have a catalog or a number of scripts that you want to put out, and you want to try to put it out there to sell it, or to whatever it is, I mean, that's entirely up to you. You know what I mean? But the platform is there. You know, the platform is.
All right, I understand. Thank you very much.
Yeah, but that's great that you're writing movie scripts, man.
Yeah.
Say again?
I say that's great that you're writing movie scripts.
Yeah. I enter a bit of all different type of writing.
Okay.
Very nice.
All right. You see, and the thing what is interesting, Joel, you're very good at your marketing. I can tell that from the get-go, from the very first day, the way that you respond.
Yes, she is.
She is. She's, I mean,
yes, she is.
She would be somebody really good to ride shotgun with. And that means that from your TWG perspective, you could be promoting certain kinds of things that we co-promote, as Dwight was explaining. So it gets more legs, it gets more visibility, and you never know where that's going to go. I mean, you don't know who's going to pick up on what where, you know. So I'm sure you have all of that in train, and we'll be able to piggyback on some of that and be able to utilize some of that content for driving traffic on Digital Canopi social media as well. And to all the people that we try to interest in things that we're doing, you know. So I hope that answers your question in a kind of roundabout way, Dexter.
Yes, it did. I gathered a lot of information in that statement.
Well, I really look forward to bringing we really look forward to seeing everybody coming on board.
Yeah.
There's nothing, unless you're selling hate or pedophilia or something like that.
Oh gosh, never.
No, I'm just saying it's an open. And I told Dwight when we took because the first meeting he wasn't able to make. I was so surprised. I said,
it's true.
Such a community, but then I know that there's a rich sort of intellectual heritage in Tobago, but they're all in Trinidad and outside, you know, not as many at home in Tobago, because I know how many people from Tobago, whether it's Henry Seeley or Isaac McLeod or this one or that one, Vanis James, what have you, they're all Tobagonians, you know, J.D. Elder, my good friend Stanley Baird, who's still there.
Oh, yes, yes, Mr. Baird.
He was a minister of tourism and what have you. But you know, so I know that there is a rich repository. What I was not prepared for was Sean, and where was he tonight? He didn't come onto the call, so he needed to get both. After organizing all of this, he come on the call.
He was the linchpin in all of this.
Yeah, because I reached out to him and through him is when I met you guys. I'm really, really very happy. You all are so organized in your own way, and I can well imagine you do better. Ask Dwight. You've done better than any community of people that we've dealt with in Trinidad.
Yes.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
Serious. I'm so proud of you all. You know.
Thank you so much.
And your social media is quite good as well. You know, really quite good. So I'm really happy that we've made the connection, and I think that it can only it's you know, it's good to be in on the ground floor, because you help to influence and you help to build as well. And to bring everybody to market would just be terrific. You know, everybody can say, you can get my ebook on Digital Canopi.
Yes. We're excited. We are truly
Cool.
excited.
So I
You're
hope the next
welcome.
thing is everybody's signing their contracts,
Well,
which
that's
is
what
really
we're
just a
looking forward
formality.
to. We're looking forward towards that
Put it
because
this way.
it's not just, yeah, go ahead, Dwight. Mm-hmm.
Put it this way, you have nothing to lose, you only have to gain, because we don't,
Correct.
you're not paying for a service. You're only paying for when you have sold your book, you know, you're paying
Yes.
for the access to a market, really. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you're paying for the facility of selling your book, you know.
Yeah.
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 Whether your book goes up and it stays there for a while and before it tracks sales or anything like that, you know, you're not
losing.
You're not
Yeah.
losing any.
But it's totally up to the author, and that's one of the things we want to, in the guild, show the authors that, you know, you are in charge of your destiny with your literary material. You don't just have to sit on it as if it's not worth anything. It's worth a whole lot. And I want all the authors to see extreme value in themselves as individuals, as well as in their work. You know, you don't have to wait to be dubbed as Stephen King or to be dubbed, you know, this Nobel Prize winner. You can put your work out there. There's a market for every genre of writing, for every kind of thought that exists. And I want our writers, especially in the guild, to see that there's value there. And this is one of the ways that we are showing them that there's value in what they're writing, not just in saying, you know, well, let us read it at the end of the meeting and everybody applaud you, but put it somewhere where people can see it, where you can get value from it in terms of an income, and just keep writing, just keep developing your skill. So, you know, I don't want to keep us any longer. We've been here quite a good while, but it was every minute well spent, right? Every minute was well spent. I can't say a bad thing about any of the times we spent here, right? So we just want to close off as Dwight opened us up by saying, and I wrote it down, Dwight, because it was a really good quote. You said, it's a great afternoon to be a writer in the Caribbean. And I thought it was so skillful for you to start with that. And I feel like it's not just a great afternoon, it's a great time for us to be writers. So I just want to close off, y'all. Please be safe, enjoy the rest of your night. Use this as inspiration to go and hone your skills, write more, read more, and put your books on Digital Canopi, right? So good night, everyone.
Thank you. Good night.
Okay, thanks again.
All right.
Karen, I just saw your message. You can get it from Jewel.
Yeah.
Email and telephone contact. And
I sent it in the
that
chat.
must be special because she was so complimentary when I came on. She made me feel like a real young girl.
Well,
okay, good night.
Good night.
You look more like a young girl. Your hair is black, my own is gray, you know. So
well, that's why I have hair color, you know.
Please tell her there's dye everywhere. Anyway, guys.
Good night, everyone.
Go on and on, but
Okay.
please, good night.
Yes.
Enjoy the rest of your
Okay,
night.
good
We'll
night.
do this again soon.
Bye.
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 Bye.